When I reached the attorney's workplace, my sibling stated, "I'll claim the residence and $7 million. He can return to his outbuilding." She continued, believing I lacked influence. However, the attorney pushed a paper toward me and remarked, "Initiate it immediately." My sibling turned ashen since the document declared, "My name is Mason. I'm 34, elder sibling, appointed chauffeur, the individual who repairs the unstable seat and tags the remaining food. I operate a modest bespoke woodworking business in a transformed outbuilding at the rear of my father's home. Desks, racks, the occasional cradle if a local relies on me. I prefer uncomplicated items. Writing tool tucked behind the lobe, brew in a damaged cup, lead traces on my fingers to demonstrate I accomplished something tangible. My device is outdated, but it captures sharp images of measuring tape figures. And that's sufficient. In our household tale, my sibling Serena is the main attraction. Mother used to claim she arrived with spotlights on her. Father would grin and state, "That girl's heading somewhere." Serena discovered soon that the space tilts toward whoever utters initially. She uttered initially frequently. She obtained the lead roles, the superior position, the final portion because she expends vitality. I got informed, "Mason, you're skilled at remaining stable." It appeared like praise. Occasionally, it was a restraint. I reside 20 paces from the rear veranda in a rectangular area I converted into a dwelling. Sleeping area concealed behind a shelf unit. Compact workstation by a slim pane. A dual-element cooktop that snaps twice prior to consenting to ignite. Father refers to it as the workshop. Serena refers to it as the outbuilding, like a jest. I refer to it as my own. When Father's wellness declined last year, minor cerebrovascular accident, then the gradual pull of recuperation. I relocated back so I could be 2 minutes distant if he required assistance. I installed handrails, incorporated support grips, studied which medication container shook incorrectly. Serena arrived during festivities, captured pictures, labeled them with affection symbols, and departed Monday. I don't despise her, I don't idolize her, I possess background with her. She once traded the bicycle I purchased with grass-cutting funds because she required money for an educational excursion. She stated she'd substitute it. She didn't. When I inquired about it subsequently, she stated, "God, Mason, release matters." I did. I released a lot. That's how you wind up residing in an outbuilding without bitterness contaminating your brew. You establish minor limits and inhale through the remainder. Father's lawyer, Mr. Clean, presses his tone. He's managed documents eternally. Testaments, the fiduciary arrangement, the right-of-way dispute when our adjacent resident desired to tear out the aged barrier. He appreciates me because I peruse what I endorse. He endures Serena because she addresses him as Klein like their peers. On a dreary Monday in February, we held a gathering at Klein's workplace. The electronic message stated, property assessment, both offspring attending. Serena inquired if she could include her consultant. Klein stated no. Father was present, slimmer than previous summer. Sweater engulfing his lower legs, digits drumming the support like he was performing a tune only he could perceive. I strolled behind his seat when they wheeled him in and attempted not to observe his left upper arm where the tissue twitches. Now Klein motioned us into the meeting space. The surface was the costly type that causes you to murmur. Serena claimed the position with the optimal illumination. I positioned where I could view Father's countenance. Ascended the larynx clarification, that signifies will commence. Serena directed regardless. She crossed her palms like a publicity image and stated, vivid and swift, "Let's render this straightforward. I'll claim the residence and $7 million. He can return to his outbuilding." She grinned at Klein like she'd resolved arithmetic. No one uttered. My lingual organ discovered the rear of my dentition and remained there. Father winked gradually. Klein's ocular lid jerked once, the sole fracture in his facade. Serena appended gentler like it was a benevolence. "Mason doesn't require much. He prefers uncomplicated items. This method we evade dispute." I examined my palms. I contemplated all the items I had borne silently. You don't inventory them until someone attempts to brush them off the surface and label it settlement. Klein pushed a solitary sheet paper out of a hide binder, rotated it so it confronted me, and wrapped the endorsement line with a writing instrument. "Mason," he stated, tone-balanced, "activate it now." Serena's grin faltered. She inclined ahead. "What is that?" I perused the title. 8 terms that caused my abdomen plummet and my respiratory organs expand simultaneously and gazed upward. Serena turned ashen since the paper declared, Replacement fiduciary deactivation upon incompetence and challenge. Beneath one phrase as keen as a basic edge. If any recipient endeavors to compel, frighten, or exclude the other, the fiduciary position transfers instantly to the designated replacement, and the no challenge provision implements. I didn't endorse right then. I examined Father. His gaze located mine the way they always do when a space transforms into a tempest. He assented once, minor but present. Klein creased the sheet back into the hide and stated, "We'll examine in a moment." He desired a launch path. I required atmosphere. Serena required a fresh strategy. Here's how we arrived at a surface where my sibling could utter 7 million like a market list entry and anticipate the space to applaud. Father constructed wealth by increments, not pyrotechnics. He was a builder who didn't deceive. He acquired this residence when it was unattractive and rendered it firm. He acquired the parcel adjacent when the proprietor freaked during a downturn. He performed 3 renovations in 10 years and retained the 4th as a lease. He placed funds in dull investments and never attempted to be smart. When Mother passed, he became more silent and more obstinate about testaments. He placed the residence and the lease into a revocable fiduciary. He created a medical directive. He selected Klein because he composes like a person who envisions litigation is always feasible. I departed for a period, not distant. A single bedroom in a masonry structure with a vista of a passageway and a maple that transformed into a spectacle for 3 weeks annually. I created desks and mended cupboards and discovered that individuals compensate promptly if you bear a payment device and grin while they press. Serena departed for more remote, but always reappeared noisily. Fresh metropolis, fresh partner, fresh enterprise, a way of life label that existed on advance orders and regrets. When it halted, she uploaded lengthy descriptions about endurance and then messaged me, "Can you lend me $250 for a vendor? I'll reimburse you Friday." Friday shifted. The sums didn't destroy me. They accumulated 90 here, 120 there, 300 just until my presentation payment arrives. I maintained the inventory initially, then ceased because inventories rendered me resentful, and I would prefer to be fatigued than resentful. Father didn't observe the payment app demands. He isn't skilled at applications. He observed Serena in a fine overcoat and presumed she discovered it discounted. Last spring, Father slipped in the cooking area and struck the flooring with a noise that still resides in my auditory canal. The medical facility retained him 2 evenings. The physician stated, "Transient ischemic attack and rehabilitation and be tolerant." Serena arrived by air for the weekend, recorded herself preparing broth, and departed Monday, vowing to arrange a caregiver. She did not arrange a caregiver. I relocated back into the workshop because the notion of father solitary caused my epidermis to hum. I informed myself it was provisional. Provisional becomes cozy when no one else offers. Assistance appears uninteresting from the exterior. Medications at 9 and 9. The manner his left extremity pulls when he's weary. The manner he utters fine when he means I'm frightened. I compensated the power when automatic payment failed because he forgot to transfer profiles. I covered the drugstore copayment the month the program malfunctioned. I requested support grips and mounted them at midnight when he finally rested. I placed a staircase elevator down payment on my plastic because the firm required it today to place you on the calendar. And Serena stated, I'm journeying, can you just manage it?" Figures as indicators. 2:17 a.m. initial occasion, I assisted him back to rest after his joint collapsed. 11. The quantity of occasions Serena messaged inquiring in 3 months without once questioning if I required a respite. $3,200. The staircase elevator down payment. $560. The drugstore asserted I battled for 3 weeks while his vascular tension toured elevations. 40 minutes in the broth section, contrasting salt like it, was an exam I could excel with sufficient narrowing. During this, Klein telephoned. Father desired a complete assessment. He's coherent, Klein stated. But he wants the framework robust. We convened twice. One alteration was prominent. The no-challenge provision acquired enforcement. If either offspring endeavors to exclude the other or force allocations, it read that offspring portion decreases to the legal minimum. Klein stated, "It deters conflicts." Father stated, "I don't want conflicts." I didn't either. I wanted my parent to cease misplacing words mid-phrase. Then wealth became vocal. Serena showed up with a guy named Theo who labeled himself her tactical associate. He possessed a timepiece like a spacecraft. He stated, releasing capital and examined our residence like a renovation awaiting. Over supper, Serena stated, "It's insane to hoard resources when father could reside more easily. We should vend the lease, vend this, place father somewhere with constant assistance and streamline." Father placed down his utensil and stated, "Silent, I reside here." Serena gestured a palm as if area measurement was a discussion you could triumph by being appealing. They began arranging gatherings without me. I discovered because Klein copied me regardless. Topics like readying for shift and appraisal of Maine. I continued informing myself not to battle topic lines. Then I observed accelerated shift to Serena for continuity and my torso performed that constricted thing. I traveled to Klein's workplace. "What is occurring?" He interlocked his digits. "Discussions. Your parent is still fiduciary. He is also fatigued." I stated, which is why we readied backups, he stated. The week prior to the major gathering, Serena dispatched me an inventory for productivity. The topic peruses like purchasing. 1. I'll claim the residence. 2. I'll oversee investments. 3. Mason retains his outbuilding. 4. Sell off the lease. 5. Allocate $7 million as I deem appropriate for father's assistance. The figure lodged like a particle in my dentition. 7 million is substantial. It's also a method to overwhelm individuals in benevolence they never witness. So we positioned at Klein's surface. Serena issued declarations. "I'll claim the residence and the 7 million. He can return to his outbuilding." It wasn't novel. It was the most audible rendition of her ancient melody. I determined the major items. Mason will adapt. The document Clean pushed across was the counterharmony. Clean unveiled the binder and smoothed the sheet with a skilled hand. "We can spare orations," he stated. "Mrs. Hart, he addresses Serena that when he's establishing a boundary, you've suggested a shift that would effectively exclude your sibling from authority and main dwelling. That suggestion activates the provision your parent embraced last year. Mason is the designated replacement fiduciary. We can implement the initiation now." Serena chuckled. It was brief and incorrect. "You're jesting." "I am not," Klein stated. Theo inclined backward, grinned smugly, then halted when Klein didn't encounter his gaze. Father's palm drummed the support twice. I placed my palm near his. He calmed. Serena inclined toward me, tone subdued, camera endearing. "Mason, don't be a victim. You're not constructed for this. You prefer polishing. You detest clash. Allow the individuals who comprehend funds manage the funds. You'll still possess your outbuilding. The outbuilding I constructed, I stated serene on the land I preserved. While you were occupied releasing capital, Klein pushed a writing instrument toward me. If you endorse here and here, you assume fiduciary duty, he stated. We document a summary of fiduciary to prevent unauthorized shifts. Your parent stays the recipient, equal portions upon his demise. No one gets to maneuver recklessly, he rapped the lower line. The no-challenge provision discourages lawsuits. Serena struck the surface gently, a television motion. Ridiculous, father. She pivoted to him with the radiance that extricates her from overdue charges. Inform them you desire me to manage matters. Inform Klein to cease the theatrics. Father elevated his gaze to hers and performed something uncommon. He shook his cranium. His lips labored around the terms, and when they emerged, they were minor and flawless. Cease claiming. I'm claiming care of you, she stated. Claiming? He echoed and became silent. Theo attempted. There are fiscal consequences. You are not advisor, Klein stated. Please don't interrupt. I grasped the writing instrument. My palm didn't tremble. Serena, I stated, maintaining my tone at a degree I could reside with later. I'm not barring you. I'm securing the entrance so the breeze ceases tearing it off the mounts. She inclined backward like preparing for a performance. Utter the phrase, Mason. This isn't about vengeance, I stated. This is about conclusion. Klein assented. Endorse, please. I endorsed twice. Date initials where he indicated. 2 employees entered to observe. Expert and impartial like furnishings that inscribes. They observed, endorsed, disappeared. Klein arranged the sheets in a tidy stack that felt like a barrier between us and an aerial footage of our ceiling with agent tunes. Serena's tone transformed to frost. So what now? You expel me from my own residence. No, I stated I transport father home. I maintain the illumination active. You be his offspring, not his proprietor. You don't comprehend what you're doing. Klein pushed her an overview. This delineates your privileges and duties. One of them is not one-sided allocation. She didn't claim it. Theo, she stated. Theo attempted again. A residence-dominant collection is careless. You require me. We require you to cease speaking. Klein stated. Serena indicated at me, "You'll remorse this when it becomes difficult." "It's already difficult," I stated. "I've just been performing it silently." She chuckled and it fractured. "Enjoy your outbuilding." She departed a Serena-formed void in the atmosphere. Theo trailed. The space released breath. Klein adjusted his neckwear. "We'll submit today," he stated. "I'll dispatch a inventory." Father clarified his larynx. "Home, home," I stated. In the lift, he extended for my palm. I permitted him. In the metallic mirror, I observed a guy individual's hand inventories to today. I claimed the inventory back. I anticipated pyrotechnics. What I obtained was documents and telephone discussions and the strange silence that succeeds a limit. Customer's inventory arrived in my electronic mail at 3:12 p.m. Inform financial institutions of fiduciary shift. Halt non-vital profiles pending review. Shift automatic payments to fiduciary. Submit doctor documents. Renew land coverage. Document summary at district. The inventory was uninteresting in the manner a durable ground is uninteresting. I telephoned financial institutions. "I'm the replacement fiduciary. Here is the verification. Eliminate Serena as provisional endorser for ease. Note the no challenge provision. Individuals proceed cautiously when that phrase is in the atmosphere." At home, Serena had departed her velocity. 2 containers tagged occasion items. A illumination circle leaning like an inebriated. A floral arrangement partially withered because the bases were trimmed incorrectly. I placed the pot on. Father drummed the support to the beat of the skirting warmer. My device illuminated like a gambling machine. 15 overlooked calls by 6. Serena's voice messages arrived endearing, then pointed, then burned. "Let's be sensible. You shamed me. You believe you're honorable. You're minor." Theo messaged, "Include me as an advisor." I didn't respond. I appended his figure to a memo titled Disturbance. Relative Linda dispatched a section about pardon with a scripture. Relative Ray dispatched, "You performed correctly, youngster," plus a meat image I didn't realize I required. Serena uploaded a dark rectangle. "Occasionally, the individuals you nourish attack you." Responses illuminated. I placed my device face downward and prepared infusion. The following dawn, I prepared ovum for father and composed a scheme on the reverse of an aged bill. Convene Klein at 11 o'clock. Telephone Dr. Ohmed for ability document. Shift services. Cost a domestic wellness helper. 4 hours daily. Monetary flow the subsequent 90 days. Figures again to secure me. $4,200 in fiduciary verification. $11,000 in a capital reserve. $3,700 in father's individual verification to be merged. $2,100 monthly residence costs. $1,400 health-related. $1,280 for mornings with a helper. The major profiles were dull investments. The residence was settled. The lease supported itself, not unstable, just numerous controls. At the financial institution, the supervisor's neckwear battled his garment. He ceased jesting when he observed Klein's gaze. We altered endorsers, produced verifications, established notifications over $500. I provided Serena view-only entry because I don't want to militarize concealment. I want to militarize openness. At midday, Serena telephoned. I responded, "What do you desire?" She stated, "For you to be father's offspring," I stated, "not his fiscal board. You shamed me." "You shamed yourself." I stated, "You stated I could possess the outbuilding. You're not constructed for this. You believe virtue compensates the caregiver. The caregiver will be compensated," I stated. "By the fiduciary, not by a rapid ven to finance your atmosphere." "Quiet. You always render me the antagonist. I didn't compose your phrases," I stated. "I just ceased providing mine." She disconnected. Dr. Occam transmitted by facsimile. Yes, transmitted by facsimile. A document coherent with shortcomings. Choices with aid. Good barriers, not a blade. I reserved therapy. I placed an adhesive memo on the cooler. Telephone about Tuesday transports. I employed a helper. 8 to 12 a.m., $28 per hour. Valuable if it maintains father more secure and me less fragile. Serena shifted to father. "How are you, daddy?" "I'll drop by with cuisine." Can Mason dispatch streaming? Father elevated the device and stated, "I don't want spectacles. I'll be here when she drops by." I stated. He assented and rested like he'd provided me a weighty sack. 3 days in, the helper Marisol commenced. She is compact and exact and doesn't overpower. Father appreciates her because she describes, left extremity large stride. Excellent. She vocalizes when she prepares infusion. The residence feels altered at 9 o'clock am, less like I'm a barrier, more like a group. Kinfolk erupted. I duplicated one message as a pattern. Father stays the recipient. I'm accomplishing the position he designated. The residence is not for vend. Serena can drop by as a offspring. We aren't discussing this in collective messages. Responses varied from proud of you to quiet to a indirect hostile pastry formula. 2 weeks subsequently, Clean provided me a dense packet, the district mark. He also provided me a slimmer one. Your parent composed this last summer, provide upon initiation. At home after father rested, I unveiled it. Mason, his designer script stated you are stable, that is why I fret stable individuals get utilized like surfaces. If you're perusing this, you performed a difficult thing. I'm proud maintain the residence, while I inhale maintain your sibling, if she arrives with vacant palms. And a complete spirit if not maintain the entrance ajar. And your purse sealed affection, I placed it in the compartment with his parents' tool, something in me relaxed. I rested genuine rest 2 evenings, in a sequence messaged, can I drop? By yes, 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. Marisol will be here. She showed up with delivery and no Theo. She wept when father addressed her youngster. She explored around my workshop and stated, you could vend these for more if you presented them better. I could, I stated, and didn't request for a lecture. She departed a resilient Flora. It can't perish, she stated. We'll observe. Then the invoice for father's fresh remedy, $480. I shifted a figure from one section to another. I telephoned the program, pressed 3, then 1, then 4, awaited 27 minutes, requested for a level exemption. Figures are figures, devices are devices, you rotate controls, you maintain illumination active. A month in, the lease's occupant messaged an image of a drip. I seized my sack, repaired a tiny hole in the delivery conduit, secured, cleaned, awaited. The occupant stated, thanks for arriving so rapidly. I stated, it's my duty. And comprehended I meant more than piping. Ancestor, father's parent's sibling technically dispatched a greeting with $10, and for indulgence, I acquired father's citrus biscuits and informed her they were from her. She stated good, he always appreciated citrus. Serena's upload mellowed. Fewer dark rectangles, more images of father's palm on hers. She still utters outbuilding occasionally, but gentler like she comprehends the term has borders. I still reside there. I incorporated a compact pane above the sleeping area. Dawn illumination strikes the barrier like a rectangle of authorization. Existence did not become dramatic. It becomes precise and stable. I awaken at 6:12 to the skirting snap. I prepare brew in the damaged cup. I polish desk borders in semi-arcs until my upper arm responds. The entrance is secured from my side. Serena messages less. When she does, it's about father. Does he appreciate Becker's citrus biscuits? Garden on Saturday, not about resources. When she glides toward ancient patterns, I don't glide with her. Mother's side still possesses views. Relative Linda emphasizes religious readings. Relative Ray dispatches me images. Relative Tasha requests for a complimentary rack since you folks obtained the residence. I dispatch my charges. She responds, no concerns, with 3 punctuation marks and disappears. It aches less than I anticipated. Individuals display you their financial statements in instances like this. What they are indebted, what they believe they're indebted, what they're prepared to acquire. I attached a reference card inside the cup storage. I will not compensate to be eliminated. I will not permit kinfolk be a code to the title. I will not clarify a limit more than once. I will appear for individuals who appear for me. It isn't attractive, it's readable, that's sufficient. Klein dispatches periodic emails with point lists. I respond promptly. The residence aromas like brew and timber and the subtle citrus cleanser Marisol appreciates. Father rests in his seat and informs me the identical veranda tale from '97 about a distorted support he repaired with fasteners and tolerance. I hear every occasion. It's altered each occasion. Anyway, some days Serena positions on the carpet, colors her fingernails, and converses about nothing with him, which is a type of restoration. I don't penalize her. I don't advance her either. She gains territory by how she proceeds. We battle less because I cease trying for the position she composed for me. She still possesses borders. So, do I, we're both acquiring where they don't slice. I don't feign this rendered me honorable. It rendered me distinct. Conclusion isn't a crash, it's a snap. It's documents submitted, a pot that signals, a staircase elevator that buzzes at the identical velocity as a pulse that soothes. My name is Mason. I'm 34, elder sibling, woodworker, not the main attraction, not the secondary idea. The guy who perused the paper endorsed his name and resolved that being stable could mean remaining, not just supporting. And when Serena stated, "I'll claim the residence and 7 million he can return to his outbuilding," I didn't proceed anywhere. I placed the residence back on its bases and remained.